Are you guys stoked about the new Milwaukee 8 Harley-Davidson motor? I know I am. That is a nice bike.
Isn't it?
Yeah. You're probably searching for a perspective from an average everyday biker on the new 2017 Harley-Davidson touring lineup with the new Milwaukee 8 engine. You've definitely come to the right place. Panty dropper. Yep, you're looking at it. 2017 Harley-Davidson with the Milwaukee 8. Badass. Welcome back, Bikaholics. Ryan Urlacher here, lawabidingbiker.com. Thanks for checking back in. Really appreciate it. If I'm smiling ear to ear, it's because I am sitting on a brand new 2017 Harley-Davidson Street Glide Special. That's right, guys. You see it right there, the 107. It's the Milwaukee 8 107 cubic inch, guys. I got my hands on one. I'm going to give you a complete walk around should you get one. Sexy. All right, guys, let's take a look at this bad boy. This is a 2017 Harley-Davidson Street Glide Special. The color you're looking at here is they call crushed iced pearl, and it is a beautiful color, and I'll move in on it. It's got some sparkle to it. I don't know how well you can see that, but if you get it in the right sunlight, a sparkle really comes out in it. All right, so the Street Glide Special, a lot of people ask. There's the Street Glide and the Street Glide Special. I'll tell you the major differences. Number one, the Street Glide Special comes with the 6.5 inch touchscreen boombox system, and the Street Glide Regular comes with a 4.3. Now, it's the non-touchscreen, the regular Street Glide. This is the touchscreen 6.5. It also has integrated GPS. The 4.3 does not. Don't forget, guys, we're still cranking it, dude. #1 ranked boombox tutorial videos in the world, guys. lawabidingbiker.com/Harley boombox. We'll get you there. We've got, it's a very capable system. It has a lot of stuff, but it's not very user-friendly, and our tutorial videos are helping guys around the world, I'm telling you. Because it's very functional, but I show you all the tips and tricks and how to get up and going and the hidden menus, and so you can get the fullest benefit from this particular system, guys. And then I show you how to update the software, because they're always updating software. You need to keep that up to date. And then I also have a ride planner video that shows you how to use the ride planner online software provided by Harley, and how to plan rides and how that software works, and then how to download it and get it up into your boombox so you can take those nice long road trips and know right where you're going. So that's one of the differences. The boombox, the size, and the touchscreen models, and the integrated GPS. Then the regular Street Glide does not come stock with ABS brakes. That's an add-on that you have to do. And then same with the security system. The Street Glide Special here comes with the ABS automatically and comes with the security system up front. So those are your three major differences. Other than that, they're pretty much the same bike. You get more color options with a with a Street Glide Special. So that's kind of cool too. Let's move in. Of course, the biggest thing, guys, is this beautiful Milwaukee 8 engine that just was announced in late August, and it is it's the 9th motor in the Harley-Davidson lineup. It's called the Milwaukee 8 because it has 8 valves, 4 valves per cylinder, and you can see just it looks totally different, and it's just a beautiful look. I really, really like the looks of this new Milwaukee 8, and I think you will too. I'll get you some shots of it. You can see a lot more of it in these bikes, these new bikes. You can see it just seems to be out more front, so to speak, and so you can see more of the motor. And one of the things they really want to do with this motor is a cooler motor, less heat. And there are, with the 4 valves per cylinder, and each one has 2 spark plugs now, guys. 2 spark plugs per cylinder, and that really is for a faster, hotter, more efficient burn. thus a lot of it, we won't get too technical, but bringing down the heat of this motor. And you know, as far as it's a bigger motor, let's talk about that a little bit. So the new standard is the Milwaukee 107 cubic inch. For you that like cc, break that down to about 1750 cc is what it is. And then they're going to have, for the CVO model, they're going to have the 114, and it's about 1870 cc to break that down. So the new standards will be the 107 and then the 114 for CVO models, guys. Also, let's walk around the front here. You'll see a big oil cooler on this bad boy right up front there. A much bigger oil cooler down in there. And that is this, because it's the Street Glide Special or a Street Glide. We'll get another shot of it here. The deal with that is obviously to cool, and just the heads are cooled. It's still much an air-cooled motor, but the heads are cooled by oil. Now your ultra classics and your touring, full touring, will be what's called twin cooled models, and they'll have the oil cooler, but then of course in their lowers that sit down here, they'll have the radiators again, and they'll be twin cooled. They'll be oil cooled and water cooled heads, but again, make no mistake about it, air cooled is still a big part of this motor. We're looking around here, the primary of course, and you can see one of the spark plugs right up in there. And again, just a really cool looking, the rocker boxes up there. I really like the looks of this motor. Changed up the horn a little bit from what we're used to seeing. They've had that same horn forever, but they changed it up this year. Still that beautiful batwing fairing that we've all come to know and love. They've still got the air vent up in there to help with head buffeting coming up through there. And if you come around here, again, this is something that they developed several years ago, but there's a vent up down in here. I don't know how well you can see that. Opens and closes, and that just brings a wall of air up, and supposed to block and help with some of the head buffeting. Another deal is the big change on this motor. You know, they've changed the cases and the cylinders and the heads. The flywheel is it's a single cam, guys. Instead of the twin cam, they went with a single cam 4-lobe, and that's really supposed to help with a lot of the vibrations of the bike, less moving parts, so it really quiets it down. Just less mechanical chatter, so to speak, with this motor, and I know that's true because I've ridden this and test rode it, of course, and it's definitely a quieter motor because of that. And so that was some of the things they were trying to accomplish, is just quietening things down. You can see they changed the air intake a bit, the old 107 logo on there, and hopefully you can see some of that sparkle in that crushed ice pearl paint. It's still a 6-speed transmission, guys. So, and I will tell you that they did make some changes to the transmission, but when I was shifting it, it's super quiet. There's hardly any of that, you know, clunk sound that a lot of us are used to, which some of us really like, but it's pretty much gone. That was one of the things I noticed. Still a 6-gallon fuel tank on this, on the touring models. And this motor, Harley-Davidson is touting, gets the same gas mileage as the 103 twin cam. So that's pretty cool. They've made a bigger motor and yet made it just as efficient. Got your dash up here. Everything's pretty much the same as the last several years. You got all your controls over here, which is way better, I think, than other manufacturers. The way they have these ergonomic controls down here, your boombox volume and forward and back, and your cruise control, I should say, right there. And then everything's right here. A lot of the bikes I see, like Victory, they just put a big box, and I'm not dogging on Victory, I like Victories, but I think Harley has done a way better job integrating this with your control clusters than the other bikes where they just hang a square box off the bottom and put controls on it. It just it's harder to get to the controls, so Harley's done a really good job there. Again, I spoke of the boombox. You've got your gauges up there, and this is a Street Glide Special. One of the other differences with the Special, it comes with this gloss finished black inner fairing, and you've got your control clusters over here, your boombox controls, your joysticks down here, all that kind of stuff. Still no locking gas cap up here, just pops right up, guys. All right, let's talk about the hydraulic clutch. They're coming with the hydraulic clutches now, of course. Even my 14 has a hydraulic clutch, which is really nice. There's no adjustment really to the hydraulic clutches. They are what they are. They say they redesigned this a little bit, and it has 7% less pull, so 7% easier to pull, basically. And I find that probably true from my test ride. And they upped the oil capacity, bigger motor from 4 quarts to 4.5 now. Just something to note. Let's talk about the exhaust a little bit. Now, one thing they did here, they took a lot of rider feedback. They wanted less heat. All of you know you get a lot of heat sometimes on your inner thighs and stuff. And this particular stock exhaust is 2, you can see, 2, 1 coming out of each head. It chambers into 1 right there, and then it splits underneath and goes back out to 2. And they moved the catalytic converter back a bit. It used to be up a little more forward than it is. And you can see now they've moved it back. That's supposed to help, and they brought the whole exhaust temperatures down too with this motor, so that will help with overall heat, along with the twin cooled or the oil cooled. It just made a lot of improvements to cool this thing down. Hopefully you're enjoying the video. If you want to make sure that content and these free videos keep coming your way, there is a way you can support us. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. The community is growing over there. We'd like to have you involved too. There's no risk over there. You can sign up for a certain level and pay a certain amount per piece of content with a cap. Absolutely no risk. There are some benefits over there. T-shirts and a private Facebook group and some premium content. All depends on what level you sign up as. But that is a way that you can assure the content keeps coming your way. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Of course, if you ever want to just leave a flat donation, we do accept that too and appreciate it. lawabidingbiker.com/donate. Don't forget to check out that weekly podcast, guys. It's on fire. Ton of content we're putting out. Get involved over there. It's the Law Abiding Biker podcast. All right, let's get back into your video. All right, let's move up to the front wheel. And this bike is the Street Glide Special. It comes with the ABS, of course, dual front disc brakes. And it's also got the reflex braking system, not only ABS, but basically the reflex is if you get in a panic and you grab too much front or rear brake, it auto on the fly adjusts it for you so that you get the proper amount of braking, which is really cool in emergency situations. And you can see down there the other caliper there. Great looking wheels they've been using for years. Cast aluminum, I believe. And the front tire is a 19-inch wheel. Really good looking 19-inch wheel. And it's 130 in width. You can see the other caliper down there. And I've just loved what they've done with this front several years ago, and they're holding true to that. Front forks, they changed up this front suspension completely. And I won't get into the technical specs, but it's 49 millimeter front forks. And like I say, they did some serious redesign on those forks, and they ride really, really nice. On my test ride today, I was really impressed with the suspension. Held really tight, really good around corners and stuff like that. Now all the bikes, as we move back here, all these bikes now, when we're talking about suspension, let's just move to the rear wheel and talk about it a little bit. The rear wheel tire is same kind of wheel, and it is a 16-inch wheel. If you look down in there, and it's 180 in width. And you can see the exhaust coming out both sides there. I was telling you it's 2 into 1 into 2. That is the stock exhaust on this bike. So they redesigned the rear suspension. Didn't redesign it, I should say. They've been using premium suspension for years now, several years. And it's manually adjustable with one hand. And I'll dig in here in a second and show you that. So this is kind of interesting. I'm going to get to the suspension for you and show you it that I just found. And of course, they've still got the one hand lever, which is really nice, and the bags just open up. They redesigned that years ago. They changed it from the quarter pin. We all know the pins in the bags from quarter turn, like pins basically, and they put these knobs on here, and it looks like they're quarter turn, so to speak, knobs. So they were having some problems, and I know there were some issues with bags coming off in the past, so it looks like they've redesigned that. Same bag, same, looks like the same size in there. Good, nice big bags. And I will mention, these aren't actually quarter turn. This was new to me, I wasn't aware, but it actually, you got to screw them all the way out. So much more secure system, it looks like. All right, got the bag off, and you unthread them all the way. That's super secure, which is nice. And then, of course, here's that premium suspension, guys. No more air suspension in the Harley touring lineup, thank God. I wasn't a fan of the air suspension. I much rather have this premium manually adjustable suspension, which I have on my 14. And I have a video on this, guys, and you can see one knob right there. And I don't know how well you can see it. It's got a guide there with marks, so you can set your preload. And these are supposed to have 30% more preload, which is really cool. And I have a video on that. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com, and in the upper right-hand corner of every page is a search bar. Search for manual suspension or Harley suspension adjustment, and it's free, and I'll walk you through how to set up this particular suspension, set the preload and all that kind of stuff. So that is what they're running now. No more air suspension, guys, and you'll really like it. I'm telling you, when I jumped off air suspension and went to this premium suspension years ago, never want to go back for sure. And there's that rear wheel. Of course, we got the final drive, belt drive over on the left side here still, true to Harley on these models. All right, and just looking at the back of this bad boy, got the same kind of tail light and signal setup. They haven't changed much there, and it's real good looking. Now, you guys all know we have our very popular Harley-Davidson routine maintenance and oil change video, guys. You do not need to pay a dealership to do your oil changes and maintenance. It cannot void your warranty. You're protected by the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, guys. That's a huge one of those rumors out there. It does not, and actually they can't. You're protected by federal law. So get our video, lawabidingbiker.com/2014 Harley Maintenance. Don't worry, guys. This motor, the service is going to basically be the same. That's not going to change. We show you how to do all that. One minor difference is they move the transmission drain plug just slightly. But when you get that video, I'll do an updated video to this bike to show you the minor difference in placement in the transmission plug. So don't worry about that. Get it, guys. You do not need to pay. I love our dealerships. And I have a lot of friends that work there, but I'm telling you, this kind of stuff, the routine maintenance, guys, you can save yourself so much money by doing it yourself. And we can show you how. Bikers around the world are just sending us emails daily that they're so happy that they're finally wrenching on their own Harley. And it took the secrets out of it, because there are no secrets. And it took the... they have a lot more money to spend on other things now, like, hey, heading on a frickin' motorcycle trip instead of dropping it on a, $300 oil change or $400 in some places. So we got your back on that. This motor's not that much different as far as regular oil changes and maintenance. The rest of the bike, we show you how to check brakes and all that kind of stuff, and cables. That nothing there has changed, guys. So the video is going to hold true, but just love just walking you around as I'm talking here so you can get a really good look at this bike. Same front fender. Haven't changed that. Just one of the big changes we're going to have to get used to, guys, is just, as the motors get bigger, they're going to have to find ways to cool them, and they're just, they did have to add quite a big oil cooler down there that we're not really used to seeing on Harleys. It is what it is. I'm not a fan of big, huge radiators on the front of bikes, but they did a really good job, I will say, at keeping the oil cooler small. And again, on the touring models up here, the lowers, they're going to have the radiators built in. But I really think Harley is above and beyond everybody else. A lot of other manufacturers just slap a big, ugly frickin' radiator on the front of their bike. And it just doesn't look good to me. And again, we support all bikes here at Law Abiding Biker Media. I'm just more familiar with Harleys, but we ride, we have Indians and Victories, and we ride people with metric bikes. So that's just what I'm most comfortable with as a Harley. So we're not bad talking any other bike. That's my personal preferences. I hate it when they slap a big, huge, ugly car radiator on the front of bikes to keep them cool. Harley's done good at just keeping the look of this, keeping it looking Harley. And I don't know how well you guys can see up in here, but there are, you'll see something different in the top of these motors, and it's a wire going in, and it's an anti-knock sensor, and that's just supposed to help. That's something new, so to speak, on this motor, and it's supposed to help obviously with overall efficiency and how the motor sounds and runs and all that kind of stuff. And it is a smooth running motor. In fact, they say this motor in it has it's a counterbalance. I won't get real technical on it, but it's a counterbalancer in there. And with the rubber mounted motor and that counterbalancer, they're touting 75% less vibration. Now, the interesting thing is Harley riders want some feedback from the motor. They did studies, and people rejected when Harley tried to get rid of all the vibration. And I agree with that. We do want to feel it. That's why we ride Harleys. They're very specific and unique to every other bike on the market. And so they got rid of 75% of it, but they left 25% so that we can still feel the motor a bit. And I will say, it's amazingly smooth what they did and cutting down that vibration. Their engineers and stuff, I didn't think that it would be that smooth, but it was immediately noticeable when I started this bad boy. So as I stated, this is a single cam 4-lobe in this motor now. And it's also still got hydraulic lifters, which is really nice. You never need to adjust the valves the life of the engine. It is still a chain-driven cam, which, whatever. You can replace it later. Some guys do gear-driven cams, but they got the chain-driven cam pretty dialed in now. And they still do have a auto tensioner on the cam chain, so you don't have to worry about adjusting that. It's an auto tensioner, and they've got that pretty dialed in over the years. So just something I thought you should know about. And we talked briefly about the intake, and they say that the overall airflow capacity of the 8 valve with improvements to the air intake is 50% greater capacity. So, all right, as we wind it down here, a couple things I want to note. They fixed, or I should say they improved the charging system overall by 50%. Supposed to put out 50% more. And that's just because they're putting so many electronics on these Harleys, they really needed to amp that up, so to speak. And so that's pretty cool. Keep up with the electronics and the charging systems. You won't have to worry about anymore. And then they also changed the idle speed, or idle RPM, I should say, and they changed that from 1,000, which was standard for Harley for a long time, and they changed it to 850. And that just, and I did notice it, it cuts down on the, the overall feedback vibration of the bike to set it at 850. And then, of course, it cuts down on heat, especially at idle when you're sitting in traffic and things like that. All right, some have asked, do they still have the EITMS? That's the Engine Idle Temperature Management System, where it shuts off the rear jug at certain conditions to help cool the motor. Well, I just hadn't read, but I just tested it. And yes, you can see on the screen there, I do have the EITMS enabled, and it enables and disables the same way. And if you want all the information on EITMS, and that's something you want to know how to turn on and off on your bike and the benefits and what it does, it's been on bikes for many, many years, and you probably have it. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/EITMS. And we do a full free tutorial video on how to set it, how to turn it off, and just what it does and how it sounds. And essentially it's just turning your rear jug into kind of an air pump to cool the motor at lower speeds and stuff. So anyways, all the information's over there. But yes, the 2017 and the Milwaukee 8, they kept that feature. All right, Bikaholics, there is a walk around of the new 2017 Harley-Davidson Touring with the Milwaukee 8. And I'm telling you, after my time that I've got to spend with it, I'm stoked. And if you can swing it, hell, go get one. Just be careful. One of the drawbacks is you may get a woody because you're so excited while riding it. So just a warning. All right, guys, special shout out to Owen's Harley-Davidson in Yakima, Washington. Great guys and gals that work there. They'll hook you up if you're in the area. They're always supporting Law Abiding Biker Media. Beautiful around that corner. Wow, zero wobble, guys, and that was well over the suggested speed for that corner.